Hi guys, it's Dom from Morbid Movies podcast. I wanted to talk about Marilyn Manson. Now, I grew up on the music of Marilyn Manson. I was a huge fan of his growing up. I think I speak for Mary, the other half of Morbid Movies podcast, when I say that. I love Vision, I love the sound, that kind of pulverizing industrial metal, and a lot of that stuff is present. The raw kind of energy of old Manson is back on the new record, One Assassination Under God, Part 1. I think it's great. I think it's a great record. It's a great return to form for Manson. He looks good as well in live setting. I'm a big fan of the fact he has Reba Meyers from Code Orange in his live band now as well. Great group of musicians. And I think, again, wonderful return to form for long-time fans. Having listened to the record a little bit and then gone back to it, I can sort of safely say that I stand by my comments musically. I do think that there's a lot of diversity. There's a lot of that kind of later Manson where the vocal isn't quite as heavy, but there are some heavy moments that will hark back to that Hollywood era of Manson. One of the reasons why I wanted to come and address this new record is because over on Soundsphere magazine, our platform, I haven't been publicising Marilyn Manson. That is a personal choice. I do believe, obviously, there is ongoing allegations against Manson, and I think these should be taken seriously. I do believe personally there is no smoke without fire, and that people should be questioning why and how they are platforming Manson in this time. And that's not to say, again, there are plenty of artists out there who, it matters whether you can separate the art from the artist, right? Can you separate the art from the artist? If we look at this new record and Manson's previous work separate from the artist, then, that's a pretty good body of work, one would argue. Certainly, more recent years have perhaps seen a little downturn in form, but I know he was going through a lot of personal stuff. Obviously, this is, quite serious stuff that's come out as well. And I think it's important that while we don't, there's a lot of ongoing stuff, and Manson may still be proven innocent about some of this stuff. But again, there's a lot of evidence out there. There was even evidence in the 90s of Manson treating women and treating individuals poorly. And I think that shouldn't be ignored. I love the Manson fan base. I've been able to work with members of his band in the past, and I call some of those people acquaintances and friends. And those are the people that you can see that I've interviewed over on Soundsphere. But I think, as a long-time fan, again, musically, good stuff, cracking, and a lot of these themes paint Manson as a victim, and I'm not sure that I would agree with that. I think power can corrupt, and I think that might have happened with Manson over a period of decades. That's not to say that he may be proven innocent in some form down the line. I think it's unlikely, but I will happily retract some of these statements if everything is proven wrong. But I think that the music industry sometimes overlooks certain transgressions, issues, in the favour of making money and people's fame, etc. We've just seen that, of course. There are numerous examples of celebrities and people in power that have bypassed the system, and I think it's important that we don't ignore the fact that Manson could be found completely guilty of all these things down the line, and that the women that have come forward, whatever their motivation to do that, it takes a lot of guts, and even if they're found to be wrong or found to be lying, then that may be the case, but why would one do that is my argument. I could potentially come under fire for this, and I understand that, but I think it's important that we don't ignore the fact that these allegations are out there, and we don't dismiss them. Again, another question, again, it goes back to that question of separating the art from the artist. How can you do that? I mean, I haven't listened to Manson nearly as much as I used to in the last few years. I find it difficult. I did listen to the record. It was decent, and again, a good return to form for those long-time fans. But and again, you know, some of those musical elements that people knew and loved, that kind of goth, post-punk, industrial, even metal, some double kick and some blast beats on there, you know. So that's cool, but you know, for long-time fans and for new fans, you know, don't ignore that this stuff is out there. Don't ignore that these people have come forward for a reason, whatever that reason may be, and I think it's important that we don't ignore that going forward, whatever the outcome may be. Thank you for watching this. Thank you for tuning in to Morbid Movies podcast and our music stuff. We've done some bits on The Cure. Mary's done some bits on The Cure. Thank you for your time and for listening to me, Manson fans. You know, I know that you are a dedicated bunch, and I mean, you know, like I say, I respect you all. Like I say, I have been one of you, and I was for many years, and I still go back to some of that old stuff sometimes, very occasionally, but it does leave a bad taste in my mouth, you know. And we used to platform Manson quite a lot on Soundsphere, and I haven't done that when I've been offered the press releases this time, you know, just because it doesn't feel good to me. And that doesn't mean that I'm platforming myself or meaning that I'm better than anybody, of course. I'm just saying that, like, I don't want people to ignore that our hero, this person that we have loved, could turn out to be a massive villain, and then what would we do then, you know? So just be aware, you know, that you may be disappointed in your hero down the line. And, you know, enjoy the music, of course. You have every right to do that. And be a fan of Manson. Defend him if you want. You know, that's the nature of the world we live in. You can do that. But just, you know, be careful. Be careful. Protect yourself. You know, don't pedestal this person because you may be let down the line, you know. Yeah. Thank you for watching Morbid Movies. I've been Dom. I'll see you soon.